Peace, 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 friends and enemies. Welcome to the Silver King Interesting Show. I am your host, Matuse'S, the Pharaoh.
I'm Michael, the individual.
I am being forced to be here.
Gunpoint.
Well, since we forced you here, Trix, I'm going to make it worth your while. I know it's mad late and we're recording, so I'm going to tell you a really scary story, a personal scary story of mine, just to make the night even more fucked up for you.
Thank you.
Nah, I mean, like, yeah. As somebody who's quite a skeptic, I have had some experiences that I leave with a big question mark, and this is one that I'm going to regale you guys with that I don't know how to fully explain all of the elements of it. So, near an area called Ebenezer, and we were told that there was this scary place where had a big reputation for a lot of like weird shit happening there. People would drive there, and there was like a cemetery, and there was like a abandoned church, and people's cars would turn off. They couldn't get their car to start when they tried to leave. Apparently, one of the stories I heard was there's like 4 or 5 cars that pulled up. A group of guys went to check it out, and none of them could leave. Their cars didn't work, except for one guy who turned his car on and it worked, and he started to drive off, and there was somebody in the car with him, and he's like, "Where you going, bro? You got to wait for everyone else." And he wouldn't respond. And the guy was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And the guy driving just stopped, and he just looked at the passenger, and then he opened his door and just fell out of the fucking car. So so we had heard stories like that, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Why don't we go there early and hide in the church? Yeah, and then we can scare everyone when they get there.
Classic prank.
Yeah, classic. So
Traumatize them. Fucking hilarious.
I didn't think we needed to go and do that for him. He was already ready to go. So we didn't even end up going early enough because, you know me with time. Terrible.
Can I just add, he told me we're going to be done by 10 p.m. It's 1:45.
In the AM, baby. So we decide, all right, let's just get in the car together and we'll drive. So there's 5 of us, right? 3 guys, 2 girls. Now, oh, shit. So then, literally shit. So then we decide, all right, let's just go. So one of my friends, he's like, well, I'm going to take a weapon with me just in case. And I'm like, that's a good idea because, like, yeah, ghost and whatever. But you don't know what's out there. It's better to have it on you and not need it than need it and not have it.
A weapon against a ghost. But
No.
It's going to go through it.
We weren't taking the weapon for the ghosts. We were taking it in case it wasn't ghost and there was some like crazy nutters that were
Trying to scare people like you were.
Exactly.
Classic.
There can only be one.
It takes crazy to know crazy.
You're going to make ghosts.
Exactly. What better place?
Matuse'S the ghost maker.
Yeah. I ain't afraid of him. I make him. So he took a big machete with him, and this machete had a mermaid as the handle, right? Big sword with a mermaid handle. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Take that with you. Yeah, why not? So we get in the car and we're driving, and we drove for like an hour and a half. We end up getting to this place called the Wise Man's Ferry, and it's now pitch black. It's dark. It's nighttime. And we get to this ferry where you the only way to cross to the next place, obviously, to get your car onto this ferry, and it drives you across the water. Now, it's not even that far, but there's no other way to do it. So you can see the other side. So we get into on top of the ferry thing, and it drives us across the water, and then we get out and we continue driving. Cool. So far, so good. We're driving, and I gotta say, my mind state was like, this shit can be easily freaky, so we all have to keep a positive like mind state. So let's laugh and make light of it all.
Everyone remain calm.
That's exactly the whole kind of fucking vibe. It's like, have a laugh. So we get there, wherever there is. We pull up, and it's like nothing. It's just pitch black. And then the guy driving, who knew where it was at, was like, all right, we have to walk the rest of the way. And I'm like, his name was David. I'm like, David, what do you mean we got to walk the rest of the way? Like, where are we walking? There's nothing here but trees around us. He's like, yeah, there's a little pathway here, and we walk down it, and then we get to the location. Well, in my head, I'm like, man, I didn't fucking sign up for walking in the middle of it. I thought we're going to pull up, and it's there. You know what I mean?
Doing a pilgrimage.
Like, for real. So we get out of the car. We got 2 torches with 5 of us. And we figure, hey, if we all hold on to each other, like if I hold on to your shirt and you hold on to the person in front of you, we all hold on to each other, we'll be fine walking with 2 torches, we'll stick together. We pull the car up, we get out, We got the 2 torches. My friend takes his machete with him. And he's like, all right, we're ready to go. You know what I mean? And so we start walking down this pathway, which just like literally if the torch wasn't on something, you couldn't see anything. It was black as fuck. And so we're walking down, and we left that car already in nowhere land. And we're walking down this pathway. And I remember us cracking jokes, you know, just keeping it lighthearted. And I'm holding onto somebody in front of me, and they're holding somebody in front of them. And my friend who's got the machete is the last one of us. So he's behind me, and he's holding onto my shirt. We're just walking. Mm-hmm. We get to right where the cemetery is. Like I could see the gravestones in the like we put a torch and you could see them there. It's like, oh, look, this is where the gravestones are. All right, let's get closer. So as we get closer, I hear this swing in the air. Turn around to my friend, and he's standing there, and the look in his face is like he's shook as fuck. He's like, and then I look down in his hand, and he's holding the handle, so he's holding the mermaid, but the blade isn't there.
Bad craftsmanship.
Probably. So he's standing there with this freak look in his face, and we've all turned around and looked at him. One of the girls who has a torch decides the greatest idea here is to run for it, just to run in a random direction. So she starts running. I start chasing her because I'm just like, yo, where the fuck are you going? But she runs like so quick that I kind of lose sight of her. And then I'm kind of stuck in darkness. And I'm like calling out for the rest of them, like, yo, find me, like, find me. And they come and they see where I'm at, and they grab me, and then we walk back to the car. So we quickly get back to the car as quick as we could, and then she's there at the car. She's got the torch, and she's just sitting there freaking the fuck out with this torch. So my boy walks back, he opens the car, and she sits into the car, and we're like asking her, what happened? Like, what's wrong with you? Why'd you run? And she won't say a word. Like, she doesn't speak anymore. All of a sudden, she's fucking cat got her tongue. And then I pull my friend aside, the guy who had the machete, away from everyone else. And I said to him, like, what the fuck happened, bro? And he says to me, because, man, we were walking, and like I was holding you, like your shirt, and then somebody was holding my shirt. And then as we were walking, I realized, but everyone's in front of me. So he turns around and he sees a little fucking boy.
Little
like a little boy holding him, bro. And like, you know, in his immediate reaction, he pulls the sword up, like the machete up, and then apparently something like pulled it, and then the actual blade flung off. And that's what we heard. And we turn around to see him standing there, freaked the fuck out. And I'm like, bro, don't tell anyone else this shit, because everyone else is just trying to calm the girl down. And I'm like, just don't say anything to anyone. He's like, yeah. But he's like, he doesn't understand what the fuck is going on. They're still trying to talk to the girl, and she's got nothing else to say. And then he says to me, my friend with the sword, with the machete, sorry. He's like, I'm going to go down and see what happened. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to go down and see what happened? He's like, bro, what the fuck? I need to go down. And like, that's my, like, I think he really, like, he loved this, like, machete. Like, it mattered to him. And he's like, I need to go down. And so I'm like, all right, man, listen, I'm just going to stay with this girl because she's obviously not well. And she hasn't said a word since she ran up to the car. You guys go down. But like, as you're walking down, call out to me and we'll stay in contact with each other. And so we turned the car lights on. And I remember the car lights, you could only see as far as the lights were. And so I was trying to watch there. Because like, now I'm like, bro, I don't know what's coming from the dark. Like, if the light isn't on you, you could literally be so close to me and I wouldn't know you were there. Like, that's how dark it is. Because there's no light anywhere. Like, it's off the main road. It's all the way down. Like, it was just completely fucking pitch black. And they're walking down and I can see their torch and I can hear them. And they're walking down. And I'm just like looking at her. She's in her own world. And they do the rounds. Nothing happens. They start walking back up. And then I'm like, let's just go. And then the girl, now she thinks she can talk. She goes, no, I know where it is.
No, bro.
And we're like, no, what is? She's like, the knife, like the blade. He's calling me.
Come on, bro.
That's what she said. She goes, he's calling me.
Don't entertain that idea. You fucking leave, bro. Fuck a blade. He calling me?
No.
I was like, who's calling
Who
you?
the fuck is he?
Yeah.
Who's
he?
Who?
We need answers. But she's like, all of a sudden she builds this, like, she becomes animated with courage. And she gets up and she's like, no, I know where it is. He's calling me. I'm going down.
Possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Yeah, like it was weird, right? And then I was like, okay, she starts walking like she's gonna go by herself. I'm like, hold on, slow down. Like, and then my friend was like, we'll go down with her. Because he's still kind of like, I need to understand this. And this girl is literally saying she knows where it now is. So we walk down with her and I'm just like, just stay next to us. Yeah, don't fucking run off. And she's like, no, I got this. And she's like all of a sudden courageous. And we get down to where we were. And she's like looking around. She's like, no, he said it'd be here. And
Why is he helping out so much?
And then I'm right at this point, I'm along for the ride now. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. And then she's like looking around and then she stops and then she starts screaming and she's grabbing her stomach and she falls down.
Nah, that's some paranormal bullshit.
Bro, at that point, I was like, now fuck this. So I grab her and he grabs her and we're running now with her. And she's like, ah. And then we get up to where we can see because now the car light is there and we can see. And she pulls up her shirt and she's got cuts on her stomach. And then I see on her arm, she has cuts on her arm. And that was the first cuts when she screamed and then she fell to grab her stomach because then she got cut again. And bro, I remember seeing these like little lashes and I was like I saw the lashes and I was like, what the fuck are they? And he saw them too and his eyes were just like, what the fuck? I'm like, all right, we're done. We're good. Everyone in the fucking car. Get in the fucking car. So I start getting everyone in the car and then the other girl goes, no, he's calling me.
Oh, come on, bro.
I'm like, why he got your numbers for? He doesn't have our numbers. So she's like, nah, I'm going now. He's calling me. And I like, I've never put my hands on a woman. And I still haven't. No, but I was like, no, you getting in the car, please. And she's like, no, but he's calling me. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who the fuck is calling you. Get in the fucking car. So she gets in the car and we force them in the car. We shut the doors and we get in the car and we lock the doors. And I'm like, David, let's go, drive, turn the car on and drive. So he tries to turn the car on and it doesn't work.
This just keeps getting worse and worse.
100%.
I would be in a full fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
I would either be having like the worst panic attack of my life or I would be completely dissociated. I would be not functioning.
I think the dissociation probably
Would be more helpful.
Yeah. But you know, the crazy thing about it is when it's happening, there's so much going on that you don't have a chance to like
process it.
Yeah. And that's why like people who go through, fully. And that's why I guess like even people who go through like war, they are able to maintain all the way up until the point they find respite and peace and safety. And then it all fucking just hits them because it's literally fight or flight and survival. And so while this is going on in my head, I am thinking there's no way this is fucking happening right now. Like I just couldn't process that now this is happening, but it's just like one thing after another is happening. So then it just becomes like, no, we just got to figure this shit out. So I'm like, what do you mean the car isn't on? He's like, it won't start. And so I'm just thinking about those stories because that was a theme that we had heard that cars don't start. And I was like, okay, we've heard that this happens. All right, cool. Just wait. And I swear we're waiting in the car and that would have been the longest 5 minutes, man, because like, it's just dead silence. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, David, try it again, man. And it works. Because the idea of not having a way, because I won't walk, like, bro, we're literally in nowhere. You'd have to walk for 45 minutes in pitch black to get to the ferry again. So we start driving and we're driving back to the ferry and we're like, well, let's get the fuck out of this whole area. Let's just go. We're done. Enough. And we're driving and it's just like, what the fuck happened? You know, we're already trying to process the fuck of what the fuck. And then we pull up to the ferry and then we're just, you know, they could see us because they're not that far away. And I'm like, what is this dude taking so long? Just send the damn ferry over. And then we get out of the car to call him over like, hey, send the ferry. And the guy's like, it's not working. I'm like, what do you mean it's not working? And he's calling out. He's like, it just stopped working as you guys pulled up. I tried to send it.
No.
And I'm like,
Something was trying to keep you there.
Fact.
That's literally what it felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like
you were not leaving here.
Yeah. It felt like we stepped on somebody's wrong spot and they're like, oh, you came here to fuck around?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to fuck around with your shit then.
Yeah.
That's like, I remember because he said it just stopped working as you pulled up. And I was like, what are the chances that now it stops working? And so I'm like, well, how long will it take to fix? It's like 30, 40 minutes. We need to get somebody here.
We do not have 30 to 40 minutes, my dude.
For real. So I'm like, okay. I turn around to the guys. I'm like, hey, we just got to chill a little bit. Everyone gets out of the car. I'm like, we're just kicking. Like, we'll just chill here. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to make everyone just feel like a little bit more comfortable with it because it's still survival. You know what I mean? You're just like, all right, well, the best thing we can do is try to crack a joke. But everyone's like in a zone
Yeah.
because of what's happened. And I see the guy who had the knife, who had the machete. His name is Ash. And I walk up to him because he's now not saying anything and he's staring into some bushes. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, you're freaking everyone out. Like, he's like, do you see him?
Okay.
I'm like, do I see who, bro? He's like, he's staring out. There's a stop sign, right? And next to it is all just bushes. He's like, he's there by the stop sign. Don't you see him? Like, he keeps popping out. I'm like, I don't see anyone by the stop sign. It's like, yeah, he's not there now, but you didn't see him before? I'm like, no, bro. He's like, okay, maybe I'm seeing something. I'm like, can you please not say anything to anyone else? Like, just not right now, yeah? He's like, yeah, no, that's cool. I won't say anything. It's fucked up. You know, to be honest with you, like, I still remember, like, in my head going there, I thought, man, this is going to be sweet. And then when we were standing there, I was like, I did something fucked up tonight. Like, this is, we should have not done this. It was one thing being stuck there. It was like him seeing something, like, but now the ferry won't even work. And there was no other way around at that point that we knew. Like, we're just stuck here. If somebody came out to kill us, the guy on the other side wouldn't even be able to help us. And I'm just like, so we're just going to have to wait and we're just going to have to chill. And then this car pulls up. It was like a ute, like a pickup truck. And the car pulls up and the guy gets out. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, the ferry won't work. It just shut down. He's like, I think I know another way. Where you guys going? I'm like, we're going to head back to Sydney.
What was his tone like? Was he very like chipper?
I got to say, when he spoke to me, I didn't trust a fucking word he said. I didn't. And at that point, I think I got paranoid, but rightfully so. Honestly, up until that point, I was like, but he had 2 kids in the car, 2 little children.
Same kid that was holding that fucking shirt.
You know, every time I think of that kid in the show, I have a vision of that kid. I didn't see the kid, but the way he described it to me and the look on his face, it has always stayed with me. But I saw these 2 little kids in the car and they were asleep in the car. And I was like, maybe they're his daughters and like he's driving home.
They were both girls.
They were both girls. Yeah, they were both little girls.
With a chipper guy.
Yeah, the guy.
In the middle of the night at a random fucking ferry docking.
Yeah.
Pedophile.
Nah.
It wasn't going ding, 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 ding.
In all honesty, I like looked at the guys and I was like,
because is this like, first of all, is this like place like just not like out of the way? Like there's nothing around. Why the fuck is this man out here in the middle of the night with 2 kids? I guess people who live out
those ways, they need to use the Wise Man Ferry. Right. So it's used by people.
Right.
So I figured he came back from somewhere else and he's on his long journey back home and his kids fell asleep on the ride. Mm-hmm. And I look at the rest of the guys. I'm like, do you guys want to stay here and wait, or do you guys want to trust this guy and try to find another route? And they're like, I'm like, the only reason I feel even remotely close to trusting him is because he's got kids. That's the only reason. And they're like, yeah, you know what? Like, we don't want to stay here. So I was like, all right, let's just follow him. Like, he's got kids. We get in the car and we start driving, following him. Now, he's just driving normally, right? And we're following him as he's driving. And then it gets all black again. Now we're back in the pitch blackness of it all. And there's nothing but trees around you. And there's just a small road and this car in front of us. And then out of nowhere, this guy starts to, like, once we're away from everything, he starts speeding. Like, he speeds. Like, when I say speeding, I'm saying like we were driving, I would say, dangerously fast because we were scared of losing him. And we were following the red dot, you know, the back of the car, the brake light. We were following that red on the sides. That's how far he was, that we could just see his red. But we were like, if we drive any quicker, like, it's black, man. Like, you one wrong turn and you're fucked. But if we lose him, we're fucked. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm just like, this guy's got kids in the car.
Yeah, nobody drives like that with kids in the car.
Like, what would you put your kids at risk? And then I started thinking, well, I didn't see the kids awake. I just assumed they were asleep. How do I even know that they were alive?
Pedophile chipper man.
We followed that guy for a good 40 minutes, and that drive itself was as scary as everything else because it was just like, what the fuck? Like, will we even make it? And then we finally see a sign and we recognize what it was saying to, like, towards Sydney, and we take a left off and we fuck this guy over. And then we just go down that road and eventually we find another sign and then we drive and eventually we get to another way to get into, like, Sydney. And then we drive into somewhere we know and we pull up at a gas station, and that's the first moment of respite we have. Like, that's when we pull out, we get out of the car and everyone's just like, what the fuck just happened? And we're sitting there and my friend's looking at his handle of his machete and he's got the mermaid in his hand. And then the girl who got cut up in Spanish, the nickname that we gave her means mermaid. That's what everyone calls her. And then we realized then and there, and we were just like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm done with this, man. Somebody needs to take me home. I'm good. So somebody drops me off home, and they all go home. And I remember like making myself something to eat just because I was like, I just need to chill. And as I'm eating in the kitchen, I'm hearing sounds outside. And I'm like, my mind is so overstimulated. Now I think there's somebody outside outside in the bushes there. Because like it sounds that close. And I was like, I'm not even going to pay this any mind. I'm going to go to fucking bed. And I go to sleep. And then the next morning I wake up and I go outside because I hear some like noise. And there are police outside. And they've taped off the other side of the road. And apparently something bad happened across the street. And I'm just like, did I bring fucking some energy back home with me? Damn. So that's my fucked up story about going on a journey. And mind you, I'm still so down to go and investigate some haunted places, but I've never been able to fully understand. I've always been like, man, was it a culmination of all of our minds together playing? But then I'm just like, but I literally saw cuts. Like it wasn't just a mental thing. There were physical elements to this story that really tripped me the fuck out. And I tried to go back in the daytime to investigate it more and ask the locals about it. And apparently this place has a reputation. Some people say at a specific date in the year, the grave sites bleed.
What?
That's one of the theories about the area.
And you guys were just like, we're going to go early and scare people.
Yeah, oh man. Because in the daytime, we went and we actually looked at the church. We found the place again and we went into the church and it's been desecrated. There's like shit stains on the walls or like not like swastikas. It's just like just not pleasant, positive energy in that space. And I was just thinking, and we wanted to come and hide in here? Fuck that. Nah, man. Yeah. So do you guys want to go check it out?
Yeah.
We're going to have to, check it out.
Ugh.
That was my scary story. If you guys have a scary story that you guys want to share with us, feel free to write an email.
Please do.
And send it to us. We would love to read it out and, actually dissect it and give you our perspective on it. But yeah, what do you guys think of my story?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I got to live with it.
The blade part fucks me up so hard. Like the cuts. And then what also gets me is the stop sign guy. That one, I feel like...
You know what I forgot to say about that stop sign? Is as we were driving, once we started following the guy in the car, we drove by the stop sign. And then the girl who got the cuts, she turned to David and she said, I'm telling you, there was somebody here. And then...
No.
Yeah. And then Ash, who had only said it to me, looked at me and the look he gave me like...
I fucking told you.
Yeah, like, Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? And I'm like, just don't say anything. Like, I just gave him that look like, just don't say shit. That really fucking tripped me out.
What if the guy that was at the stop sign was the guy in the car?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he was like watching, waiting.
Like, I'm going to fucking get these guys. No thanks.
Imagine it's just like some family that just does it for shits and gigs. Like
maybe when I went and I investigated,
that's the only thing that's comforting me right now.
Yeah, I mean it could, because they could play on the whole thing. Because when I went and I saw the gravestones in a day, there were multiple sites of children. Like obviously children were buried there. A whole bunch of kids were buried there.
Okay, what wiped out all these fucking kids?
I think they were early settlers,
Oh.
and it was a disease or something had killed them. Because
Right.
this place was old, man, and like the grave sites were old as fuck. Weird story. Let us know what you guys think of the story. What do you make of it? Do you believe it? Would you go there with me?
Is there any haunted places you would like us to go investigate?
Please write some haunted places. We're dying to check them out.
Not dying to, just
we're living
very
to check
excited.
And make sure you comment, like, subscribe.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. And catch us on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.